Hey everybody, Brittany with HeatSpring here to talk to you today about the NABCEP PV Commissioning and Maintenance Certification, also known as the PVCMS. And this certification was created to recognize experienced solar technicians who have a deep understanding of operations, maintenance, and, you guessed it, commissioning. And these certified specialists really excel at the application of verification protocols, as well as preventative and corrective maintenance. If this describes you and your role in the solar industry, let's look deeper at the requirements for the PVCMS and see if it's a good fit for you. Let's talk about how the PV commissioning and maintenance specialist fits into the overall specialist certifications. In addition to the PVCMS, there's also the PV design specialist and the PV installation specialist. And the three of these together fit under the PV installation professional umbrella. If we were to look at the PV installation professional job task analysis, you can see that it covers system design, installation, system commissioning, and operations and maintenance within that one exam. If you're working in any of these particular areas more exclusively, it makes sense to go for the specialist certification as opposed to the overall PV installation professional. Let's talk how you qualify for the exam. So every single candidate must submit proof of a few different things. The first is OSHA 30 for the construction industry. And this is a little bit different because a lot of the other NABCEP certifications require OSHA 10, but not OSHA 30. So know that the PVCMS does require this larger OSHA course. In addition, you'll also need to have at least 24 hours of advanced PV training. And they break this down into 18 hours for the job task analysis. So the training needs to be related to commissioning and maintenance. And then there's also an additional 6 hours that's really more specifically on the National Electrical Code. And you'll also need to have completed services on installations that equal at least 12 project credits. And when you think about project credits, just know that that correlates to the system size. So for systems that are 1 to 999 kilowatts, those count as 2 project credits. And if the system size is 1 megawatt or above, that counts as 3 project credits. So you'll need to have 12 in total. So that's anywhere from 4 to 6 projects. So you've done the service work. What sort of documentation are you going to need to submit that shows that you've got that service experience? So there's a couple of things you'll need to submit for each of those projects that you write about on your application. First thing is a system summary. So this is the location, the date that the system was commissioned or serviced, depending on what you're talking about. System info. So that's really basic stuff about the PV size and inverters and all that sort of thing. Also, you'll need to submit contact information for your supervisor and the contractor who's servicing the PV system. And lastly, you'll have a description of the work performed. You'll also need to have system service documentation. So you'll need to upload one of the following for each project: a service call record or ticket, an invoice with service info included, or a commission report. And then the last thing you'll need to submit is a decision-making role document. And this is going to be a physically signed letter on company letterhead from your supervisor that includes the addresses from the jobs that you mentioned in your application, and a clear explanation of the role and decision-making authority that you had in regards to servicing those systems. So what's covered on the PV CMS exam? Like all NABCEP exams, it's written by volunteer subject matter experts who first start by creating a job task analysis. And so this is essentially a blueprint for the exam. And let's take a look at some of those key content domains that are going to be covered. Review or develop commissioning protocol, complete visual and mechanical inspection, conduct mechanical tests, conduct electrical tests, verify system operation, confirm project completion, orient end user to system, verify system operation and performance, and then the last two, perform preventative and corrective maintenance. So being really familiar with everything that's in the JTA will just ensure that you are going to be successful in your role as a technician, as well as more likely at being successful at taking and passing the exam. So how much is it to take this exam? Between the application and exam fees, NABCEP charges $500 to sit for it. And in the event that you need to retake the exam, the retake fee is going to run $275. So, what can you expect with the PVCMS exam? Well, this exam can be taken in any measure learning testing center, or you can take it from your home or office via live remote proctoring. You must schedule and take your exam within 1 year of NABCEP approving your application. And when it comes to the actual exam, candidates get up to 4 hours to complete the 70-question multiple choice exam with 4 choices per question. And everyone will have access to an electronic copy of the National Electrical Code as well as a calculator. A total scaled score is used to determine if you pass or fail, and you need to get at least 70 to pass the PVCMS exam. So woohoo, you get the certification. What do you need to do to keep it current? And this certification, like all NABCEP certifications, does need to be renewed every 3 years. It requires a $390 recertification fee, 30 hours of continuing education credit, and that is broken down into 6 hours for the National Electrical Code, 2 hours for building and fire codes, 12 hours for the job task analysis, and the remaining 10 hours can be used for any renewable energy elective that's been approved by NABCEP. And the last thing that you'll need is a letter that confirms that you have continued to be active in the solar industry. So, do you have any questions about getting your PVCMS certification? We're here and happy to help. Just shoot us an email at nabcep@heatspring.com and we'll get back to you with the answers to your questions. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in class.